Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the latest leaked features across multiple Tesla models, the $300,000 Cybertruck, new app updates, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla has just rolled out the latest update for their app, and it brings some great new features and quality of life changes. In update 4.30.5, Tesla has redesigned part of the in-app menu and reorganized information for an easier and more intuitive browsing experience. This new menu replaces your user profile picture in the app, and when you tap it, you are brought to a completely new menu. All of this information, such as order history, personal information, app settings, calendar sync, notifications, and more, are organized vertically for quicker access to whatever you may need. Charging information is now more prominently displayed in the app instead of being hidden away in the account information section. This gives you easier access to the recently updated charging data from version 4.30, which breaks down information on your charging habits and recent charges. Tesla has also made it easier to browse your current Tesla products, allowing you to see their details and more easily add and remove them. They have also increased the rollout of the Charge on Solar feature to a bunch of new countries across Europe. If owners have a solar system attached to their homes, they can set limits on how much they want their car to be charged by solar versus traditional energy means. So you can set a lower limit that your car will charge to using any available power, and then an upper limit that it will only charge to if there is excess solar power available. Tesla has also added a new support chatbot to the app that may be powered by AI. In the support section of the app, customers now have access to a chat assistant that can help answer questions regarding your Tesla products. At the bottom of the support page, there's a chat bubble icon that will bring you to the assistant. When the conversation window opens, you will first be prompted to choose a product that you require help with. Then you are able to ask the assistant any question, and it will find the most relevant support or owner's manual pages to help answer that. Currently, the assistant can't answer super involved or detailed questions, but that may be coming soon as this feature is updated. We're not entirely sure if this feature is powered by AI, but given Elon Musk's and Tesla's interest in the field, it seems likely. Perhaps as the technology advances, we'll eventually be able to ask it complex questions that it will be able to form unique, helpful answers to. Some smaller parts of this update include a setup Bluetooth audio option for more easily connecting devices, and changes to the menu that lets you opt in and opt out of receiving Tesla communications. Software updates are one of the biggest ways that Tesla is constantly improving the user experience of owning one of these cars. This app update brings us some cool new features, and I'm excited to see what comes next. Next up today, Tesla is in the middle of a new era for their vehicles. The Cybertruck has shaken up the car world, the Model 3 has just received a pretty major design refresh, and we should expect the Model Y to get some of those same features pretty soon. The new Model 3 is a great improvement over its predecessor, and soon we'll be seeing the performance model. On top of that, we've just gotten word that the Model S and X are going to be getting updates of their own very soon. Tesla's luxury lineup hasn't received any major upgrades in the last few years, and it was definitely due for one. With the rollout of the new Model 3 and Cybertruck, these cars were starting to get left behind on new features and quality of life improvements that we're seeing on those cars. Not a Tesla app has just reported that we can expect to see some updates coming to the Model S and X starting as early as this month. These cars are taking a cue from the Cybertruck in that it will be adding a new front bumper camera. This camera is great for parking in tight spaces as it gives you a clear view of anything that is in your front blind spot. It will appear in the car's on-screen camera views and offer drivers a smoother parking experience. This has been a highly requested addition for all of Tesla's vehicles, and it's great to see it appear on these older models first. I also hope that in time it can help finally deliver a 360 overhead view that most other cars have. In the last few years, Tesla has gone all in on a new unifying design choice, the interior wraparound light strip. It debuted on the new Model 3 and then appeared on the Cybertruck and even the current Model Y in China. Soon it will be making its way onto the Model S and X. These curved LED strips wrap all the way around the inside of the cabin, and it really gives a cool futuristic panoramic effect. I love the way it looks in my new Model 3, and it's a great addition to Tesla's vehicles that enhances their unique aesthetic. We've heard about this change a bit already, but these cars will also be featuring a newly updated yoke design. When it was first introduced back in 2021, the yoke was immediately controversial for a lot of reasons, but one common customer complaint was the new horn configuration. A lot of customers didn't like that the mechanical horn had been removed from the center and replaced with a digital thumb button. It took a lot to get used to it, which isn't really something you would want in a feature that you should rely on in emergencies. As such, Tesla has backtracked and added a mechanical horn to the center of the yoke for the first time. It will also feature better stitching and improved build quality for greater durability. On the software side of things, this car is going to be receiving some pretty substantial updates to its auto shift feature. Auto shift is an adaptive technology available in the Model S, X, Cybertruck, and new Model 3 that enables the car to anticipate your shifting needs and handle them for you. Right now, it's only auto shift out of park, but an example of where this could go is if you were trying to make a 3-point turn, the car would be able to detect and shift automatically based on your steering inputs. In theory, this should greatly minimize the amount of time you need to actually swipe on screen. A Tesla engineer told Teslascope that they're very close to a finalized version, but we're still not entirely sure when this would fully roll out. We also know that this feature will appear on the previously mentioned lineup, but some people think it may be coming to other vehicles that do have stocks right now. We can't confirm that, so we'll have to just wait and see. Teslascope estimates that we may see this feature roll out in early April. As for the new Performance Model 3, we got even more leaks this week for what will be coming with the Ludicrous model. We've seen various small leaks, Tesla testing this out in the wild, and then one was spotted in its full form for the first time in Spain. Seemingly, Tesla was doing some testing here, and we got a great look at the front bumper, which is quite different than the standard Model 3. They also got a look at the sport seats inside, the updated wheels, rear spoiler, and Ludicrous badge. After this, one was spotted on a carrier with an EU designation on it. We can clearly see that the rear is wrapped to hide it, and this has those updated performance wheels. I think they have a pretty cool look to them. The bigger leak, though, came with an EU-designated Model 3 Ludicrous. These photos leaked, and it's clearly a prototype Tesla is working on. This has a CCS connector, EU sticker, and we can clearly see the upgraded front bumper with splitter. It's a little tough to see, but around back there's an updated rear bumper with more of a prominent diffuser here, and the spoiler is slightly modified from previous performance Model 3s. Here it is fitted with Pirelli P0 tires, and it has what they are calling the 20-inch warp wheels with aero inserts. I'm curious to see how those work in practice and what they look like without the inserts if they're removable. This definitely is the closest we've seen of those wheels, and of course there are brake calipers that are red as well. Lastly, as if we needed further confirmation, this is a close-up on the Ludicrous badge. It is distinctly different from the Plaid badge, so we know for sure that this isn't Plaid, but it is distinguishing itself from the previous Performance Model 3. I'm really curious to see how much better this is than the previous iterations. Is it simply the first time they're calling it ludicrous, or is it truly going to be a noticeable improvement over previous generations? For now, we're mainly seeing these leaks come from the EU. Tesla Engineering is working on the prototype in the US, but it seems that the Ludicrous Model 3 very well could come out of Giga Shanghai first and be delayed in the US, just like they did with the initial two trims. We'll see though, as I imagine the Performance Model 3 is a popular car in the US, and a refreshed Ludicrous one would do quite well. It likely all has to do with production, and Tesla is still ramping up the first two trims of the Model 3 out of Fremont. Next up today, let's take a look at the continuing rollout of the Cybertruck and its impacts on the market. First, Tesla's production and deliveries are growing steadily by the day. A new wave of Foundation Series invites has been sent out, and more customers are constantly getting their hands on this truck. Production seems to be growing steadily, with increased deliveries happening across the country. Here we see 15 Cybertrucks ready for delivery at a Tesla showroom in Houston, Texas. Another user spotted a similar number awaiting pickup at a dealer in Utah. It's really exciting to see the increased pace of delivery, and we're starting to see a lot more of these on the streets. Seeing this car out on the road is going to do even more to drum up interest in this vehicle, and we're already seeing some pretty high-profile customers take delivery. We've talked in the past about a number of celebrities spotted driving their Cybertrucks like Pharrell, Lady Gaga, and Kim Kardashian. Now Justin Bieber has been spotted behind the wheel of a Cybertruck. With its unique design, it makes a lot of sense that some big celebrities would be excited to get their hands on this vehicle. Danny Duncan, a YouTuber with over 7.5 million subscribers, has just taken delivery of his Cybertruck and started making videos on it. His videos get an average of 3 million views apiece, and that kind of publicity is going to do a lot to get this truck even further into the public perception. Tesla posted a video of the Cybertruck out in the sand that looks pretty awesome and added desert power. Here they're referencing Dune now that part 2 of that film is in theaters. If you're interested in the specifics of the Cybertruck, the full owners and service manuals have been posted online for free by Tesla, and it can be cool to see specifics of how certain things are repaired. Even as production ramps on those vehicles, we're still seeing a lot of people trying to get their hands on this truck secondhand. Tesla notoriously included a clause in the purchase agreement of the Cybertruck that essentially tried to forbid the resale of these vehicles within the first year of ownership. If you tried to resell your truck without first offering it back to Tesla for a buyback, then they retained the right to sue you for $50,000 or more, factoring in how much profit you made selling the car. Interestingly, we're still seeing plenty of Cybertrucks for sale at inflated prices. Here's one for $236,999 at Atlanta Autos, and we've seen others go for $275,000 or more. Ford, in fact, purchased a Cybertruck for $250,000 and has already been spotted testing it at their proving grounds in Detroit. This is likely one Ford will hold on to and not try to resell again, at least for some time, as it will probably inform their next EV truck. But a Porsche dealer purchased and already flipped their Cybertruck. This was bought at auction for $244,000 and is now listed for $289,999, nearly $300,000. So this truck is having no problem selling for these insanely inflated prices. And some think that Tesla's no resale clause has actually had a reverse effect, driving the price up $50,000 more. Interestingly, Tesla's clause isn't a $50,000 cap like some seem to think it is. It's $50,000 or the profit from the sale, whichever was higher. But one Cybertruck flipper was interviewed about why this hasn't really concerned him. Quote, he has spoken to some legal experts who say that the resale agreement may not be enforceable, though Tesla can certainly enforce the banning of individual buyers from purchasing its vehicles directly, as is also included in the sales agreement. For most, the chance that this is enforceable is not worth it at all, but to others, it isn't stopping them. Now we're seeing $300,000 Cybertrucks, so I'm really curious to see what happens here. Does Tesla take action? They haven't yet. Next up today, let's take a look at one of Tesla's most prominent interior features, the screen. For years, Teslas have had their large touchscreens as a central component to the driving experience. Here you can access navigation, music, vehicle settings, and much more. Tesla saw a future of minimalist design concepts and was a very early adopter of implementing large touchscreens in lieu of physical controls. As Tesla becomes increasingly popular, a ton of other automakers have followed suit. Still, I have yet to see another vehicle with such a high-quality display and overall software user experience. So let's break down all of Tesla's vehicles and the screens they have inside, starting with the Model S and X. In 2021, Tesla did a major refresh of these vehicles, rotating the screen horizontally and increasing the resolution. The new 17-inch screen has an impressive resolution of 2200 by 1300 pixels in a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, an equivalent of 150 pixels per inch. In later models, the screen could be tilted left and right to face either the driver or passenger. This refresh retained the instrument cluster display, but added a new 8-inch entertainment screen to the rear. That screen's size was increased slightly in 2022, now featuring a 1440 by 900 pixel screen in a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Next, we have Tesla's most popular vehicles, the Model 3 and Y. These cars both feature a 15.4-inch touchscreen in a 16 by 9 ratio. These high-resolution screens display at 1920 by 1200 pixels, just below 150 pixels per inch. Those numbers have also changed slightly for the new Model 3. Tesla did not include an instrument cluster screen on these vehicles, instead opting to display all of the driving information on the center screen. Previously, these vehicles did not have a rear screen, but one was added to the new Model 3 refresh that came to the US this year. This 8-inch display is also expected to arrive on the Model Y when Tesla eventually releases their highly anticipated refresh of their best-selling vehicle. Next, we have the latest Tesla, the Cybertruck. As Tesla shifts more operations to the screen, this vehicle's display is the biggest and best that they have ever made. This 18.5-inch screen displays at 2560 by 1440 in a 16 by 9 ratio. This truck also does not feature an instrument cluster display, with all of the vehicle's visualizations and data appearing on the center screen, including rear and side cameras. Much like the front, the Cybertruck also features Tesla's largest available rear screen. The 9-inch screen has an output resolution of 1440 by 900 pixels in a 16 by 10 ratio. Lastly, there's one more Tesla vehicle that most people will not drive, the Tesla Semi. Tesla has slowly rolled out this electric big rig to a few corporate customers, but most probably have yet to see one in person. It has a unique cockpit design where the driver sits centrally and is flanked on either side by two 15-inch displays. These screens replace the usual instrument clusters and displays all of your necessary driving information and appear to be the same screens as the Model 3 and Y. Tesla's software-driven design principles lead to improvements coming to these displays all of the time. While the hardware may stay the same in your car, constant over-the-air updates give them new tools and functionality constantly. Tesla is truly at the forefront of EV design, and the implementation of their center screen is a great testament to that. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. In an effort to drive sales, Hyundai just rolled out some great incentives for the Ioniq 5. A note to dealers was shared online that Hyundai is offering 0% financing for 60 months on all trims of this vehicle. Customers also have the option of choosing a flat $7,500 EV bonus instead if they purchase this vehicle. This move follows Ford, who similarly announced price cuts and 0% financing on the Mustang Mach-E. With this 0% financing, the Ioniq 5 is undercutting Tesla pretty considerably. If you were to purchase a new Model Y starting at $45,000 at 6.49% APR, then in the end you would be spending $7,800 more in interest than a similarly priced Ioniq 5. That is taking tax credits out of the equation though, which the Model Y qualifies for. These legacy automakers are starting to play hardball and are implementing a lot of incentives to make their EVs attractive compared to Tesla's. That's great because ultimately what this leads to is even greater customer choice for compelling EV options. After a slower than anticipated Q4, Rivian's stock has just dropped to an all-time low. Rivian just released their Q4 and full year earnings report from 2023 and then subsequently announced that they would be laying off 10% of the company's salaried employees. Although the company more than doubled their total deliveries last year, rising interest rates led to, quote, a more significant gap between production and deliveries in Q4. The company did see improved losses that quarter, down from $1.7 billion to $1.5 billion, but lower orders still hit their gross margins pretty badly. Rivian had been cutting vehicle costs every quarter of last year, getting losses down to $30,648 in Q3, but losses jumped back up to $43,372 per vehicle in Q4. That's still much better than the company was doing a year ago, when they were losing nearly $125,000 per car. Given their rough quarter, analysts downgraded Rivian's stock, which is now sitting around $10 a share, an all-time low. The company is looking at numerous money-saving measures, including a planned factory shutdown in Q2 to implement cost-saving technologies. Rivian expects these changes to, quote, meaningfully reduce material costs in 2024. Rivian is in a bit of a tough financial spot at the moment, but the company is working hard to get their finances under control. Hopefully their current plans and upcoming R2 platform will be able to get the company on the right track to profitability, because I definitely want to see them succeed. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see why I sold my Rivian R1T, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.